Good evening, everyone. Welcome to this regularly scheduled Township Board of Supervisors meeting. First item will be a pledge to the flag. Please join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So with permission, I'd like to move forward one item for this evening, which would be resolution number 2024-28.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to move to approve Resolution 2024-28, recognition of William Polizzato.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
So, Bill, would you come forward and your wife too, please? Congratulations.
Thank you.
So I would like to read this resolution now that we've passed it. So, resolution in recognition of William Polizzato. Whereas William Polizzato began his career with Springersbury Township on November 12th, 2021 as a patrolman in the police department. And whereas William served the citizens of Springersbury Township for 22 years with dedication and faithful service. And whereas William began his retirement from Springersbury Township on February 2nd, 2024, now therefore be it resolved that the Board of Supervisors of Springersbury Township, on behalf of its citizens, wishes to express sincere gratitude and appreciation to William for his years of dedication, faithful public service, and leadership. The Board congratulates William on his retirement and wishes him and his family much happiness and good health. Adopted this 8th day of February 2024, signed by the Board of Supervisors. Thank you.
Years. So, yeah, is this on? I might actually use this because I'm losing my voice and I don't want to shout. So, we're here to celebrate Bill tonight, obviously. As stated, he began his career with us on November 12th, 2001 as a patrol officer. I want to cover a few highlights of his career. He showed early on a passion for another aspect of policing, which was our Canine Officer Program. In 2003, Bill was instrumental in developing the Springersbury Township Canine Program and became the department's first canine handler. Bill had two canine partners during his career. The first was Ike, who was with Bill from 2003 until 2009, and then Ike was shortly followed by Petro from 2010 until 2016. Bill's passions, however, were not exclusive to the canine program. His other passion was for traffic and DUI enforcement, at which he did excel. For Bill's entire career, 22 years, he was among the top traffic enforcement officers of the department every single year. His concentration in keeping the roadways of Springersbury safe had varied disciplines. Bill was not simply a great traffic enforcement officer, he was also certified as a Motor Carrier Safety Assistance Program, or MCSAP officer. This certification is enforcement of the motor carrier laws on commercial vehicles, mainly tractor trailers. And I remember distinctly him being involved in a lot of dirty jobs trying to get those tractor trailers pulled over and made certain they were good to go in the township. He specifically liked the trash trucks. It involved making certain that they were properly loaded, their equipment was functioning as required, and their equipment and drivers were both licensed and certified. Bill's traffic enforcement talent did not stop there either. He also excelled and was a huge proponent of the DEI enforcement effort. Bill's arrest statistics, much like his traffic enforcement statistics, always ranks among the top of the department. In 2013, Bill was recognized for his DUI enforcement efforts by being named a DUI Top Gun for Pennsylvania. This recognition is reserved for the top DUI enforcement officers of the state, the entire state, so it's quite an accomplishment. In 2022, Bill's accomplishments were recognized by the department, with Bill being named the 2021 Springersbury Township Police Officer of the Year. This award is the highest cumulative, non-incident-based departmental accolade an officer can achieve. Bill, you've had an incredible career. You and your contributions to the safety of the township are going to be missed. Wish you well in all your future endeavors. Congratulations. I do have something to present. We're going to present Bill with, once I drop it, we're going to present Bill with his retirement badge, retiring from Spring Spray Township Police Department. That's yours. And what we do is each officer, when they retire, they get one of the handguns that they carried on duty. So Bill will be presented with that as well tonight. Since we know that you don't make it through this career without a great support system, we're also going to present the misses. So.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You guys are welcome to stay for all the fun. All right, we have had no executive sessions since our last meeting, so at this point, I would like to open up the floor to communication from citizens. If you are in the audience, please raise your hand to come forward. And if you're on Zoom, click the raise hand button to be recognized if you wish to speak through Zoom. So, sir, please come forward, state your name and address for the record.
My name is Mark Lane. My address is 961 Erland Drive in York over in Haynes Acres. I want to start off by thanking Andy from the Parks and Recreation Department. I had called Spring and Sperry Township. This is in regards to the Erland Drive and Raleigh Drive intersection. I'm sure everyone here is probably aware of that, but since those lights have been put in, there's a lot of running of that stop sign. I had called and Andy had, within 2 weeks, had put a larger stop sign as well as the red stripes down. I think it's helped a little bit, but I think there is a little bit more that could be done there to improve that. I know Spring and Sperry Township Police, who I also thank for their contributions in being there and pulling people over when necessary. But it is a safety. I live actually right at that intersection, pretty close. So I see people running that stop sign constantly. You could have a police officer sit there and pull people over all day long if you really wanted to. So I just want to bring that to the board and see if there's any traffic studies or anything additional that could be done. So
Unfortunately, it seems like when there's a police officer sitting there, they don't run the stop sign.
yeah, maybe an undercover cop down the block. I don't know. I need one suggestion I had spoken to Andy about is I know there's some four-way stop signs within the neighborhood. There's one at Courtly and I forget the intersection there, maybe Kingston. But there is a four-way there, and I rarely see people running that because there is a four-way stop sign. So I don't know if something like that would help in that area. And then there's another area, I believe, might be Kingston, where there's a speed hump in the middle of the road. And other than maybe someone flying and trying to ramp it, most of the time I see people slowing down and going around there. I don't know if there's something on Raleigh Drive up further that could possibly slow people when they see that green light, that they can't just floor it and go through the stop sign. So those were the two suggestions I just wanted to bring. And again, thanks for all that you guys were able to do without actually bringing it to the board. So
Yeah, and I do want to address some of this because we've studied that area quite a bit. Chief, I don't know if you want to well, your voice is a little ragged, so. So generally, there are some things that that have to happen before we can put additional signage up there. We have to do traffic studies, and it has to meet warrants because we can't just. We would like, as a township, to be able to do that. Right. We have to meet state requirements to be able to do things like that. We have done some things like speed humps on some roads in the township, but again, that depends on which road and what the traffic's like on there to be able to do that.
right.
I'm sure that we'll be out taking a look and making sure that whatever enforcement we can do will happen. It's just changing the speed devices, the stop signs and traffic lights is not as easy as just putting one up.
Okay, right. Okay.
So I appreciate you
Yep.
coming today.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody on Zoom, please click the raise hand button. else? All right, then we'll move on. Environmental engineering, Diana?
Hey, good evening, gentlemen. I have nothing to add or change on the report that we've submitted. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
Anybody?
No questions?
Thank
All right,
you.
thank you.
John, civil engineering report.
Just since that gentleman discussed some of the traffic improvements, makes me think, we had a resident in the township by the name of Bob Sandmeyer who passed away last week. And I'm sure the manager, many of our managers knew him. I spent a lot of time on his front porch, but
Time on his front porch as well.
he spent a lot of time lobbying for the speed hump, and you'd sit there with him, and people would come by and curse at him for having the speed hump in his yard, and he took that as a badge of courage. But he was the one that agreed to have it in front of his home, and it produced some positive results in that instance. Just 3 quick updates. First, I did report on our zoning hearing board meeting, and we had 3 cases, but we had a case. I want to let the board know that I thought the zoning hearing board made a good decision on a very complicated steep slope issue in the township, and I thought they made a good decision. I know the developer probably wasn't very happy, but I think we're on pretty solid ground there, so we'll see what happens with that. Secondly, as you know, we applied for a TASA grant in front of the Giant Shopping Center for that sidewalk gap. And the manager and I had a meeting with our liaison, and we're working through some challenges. The department doesn't want us to put a retaining wall there, and they came up with some ideas that would require us to eliminate parking in that shopping center. In our informal discussions with the developer, they said, I'm good with anything the township wants to do. We think it's a great idea. I just don't want to lose any parking spaces, so we're trying to steer around that, and we'll let you know what happens there. And then finally, there are quite a few plan reviews that I reported on, some conditional uses coming up. So the next few months will be a busy time to review plans and winnow those. If you have any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them. Oh, and the signals poles are up at Haynes Road and Industrial, and Haynes Road and Eastern Boulevard. So that work is ongoing, and I think they're doing a pretty good job.
Questions for our engineer? Thanks, John.
Thank you.
Consent agenda, are there any items on here that anyone would like to discuss in further detail?
I'll move to approve consent agenda items A through C.
Second.
Motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Bids, proposals, contracts, and agreements. Authorization to advertise request for proposals for camp security park master site development plan.
Mr. Chairman, as the agenda clearly states, that's what I'm requesting to do. This is in regards to the 2 grants that we did receive. One grant from Department of National Resources, and the county also through their open space. And we developed the RFPs that have been reviewed by everybody that needs to review them, and seeking permission to send them out for participation.
Mr. Chairman, I move to authorize management to advertise the request for proposals for the Camp Security Park Master Site Development Plan.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Communication from supervisors. Anybody have anything?
Oh, I do have something, and I know Don is going to be like overjoyed with excitement that he's probably just going to pop right out of the screen. Ladies and gentlemen, I have been appointed to serve an unexpired term on the PSATS Resolution Committee, and I know how you guys all love those resolutions so much that you delegate that responsibility to me. So just recognize, though, that you have an opportunity and a nearby ear. If you need to make a resolution before PSATs, I'm all ears and happy to entertain your requests.
Let's just make sure it doesn't have anything to do with taxing streaming services, please.
That will not be moving whatsoever. That did not move at the association, but I will keep an eye on that issue, certainly from my vantage point on the resolution committee. See?
Congratulations.
Thank you,
You
Don.
do look excited, Don.
It's refreshing to know that not only we recognize his talent, but others as well.
Exactly.
Oh, yes.
There you go.
Thank you.
Anything else? Solicitor's report.
So, good evening, Corey Doninger here on behalf of James Sanders tonight. I don't have anything. I think the only updates that James wanted to relay to you all, our office is actively working on some liens for the township. Those are in progress. Probably should be filed soon. And the only other thing I believe James is working on, kind of formalizing those, like an electronic participation for Zoom for meetings like this. So those are in process. Other than that, I don't have any updates.
He's working on something. Do you have any insight into what that actually looks like for the state right now for participation in Zoom?
Like what the actual document or what
The regulation for a board meeting like this?
I think he's looking just to formalize something. Ever since COVID, obviously it's been a pretty routine thing. But I think it makes sense to just formalize some of these. I haven't seen it, but I think he should probably have a draft of it pretty soon.
Okay, that's good. Probably need to use that in another forum.
Yeah.
Any questions for the solicitor? Manager's report, Mark.
The only thing I would like to add is there is movement on our RACP grant.
Wow.
So miraculously, we have movement. The Office of Budget did approve all the paperwork that was submitted in April of last year.
Of
So-
last, yeah.
Of
a year
23.
ago.
So we have movement, which is a good thing.
I want to see the check moving into our checking account.
I'm sure she's wanted that check since May of last year, so yes. But we're moving forward.
Is there another step? Did they give you any insight?
I had to give some additional information today, which was stuff I had, so it was easily returned to them. There's a liaison in this process too, so that's who I'm dealing with. But I got everything that they needed sent out today, but it sounds like we're full steam ahead.
Okay, good.
Anything else?
No, that's it.
Questions? All right, so we jump to old business. I do just want to point out the volunteer fire company bylaws issue. I've asked Mark for a little bit more information about a few things. I don't know that we have enough from what our discussion was earlier to really cover this tonight. We will need to address it at some point in the near future, but I would suggest that we just pass over that for now. Anything on the rest of the list here that anyone would like to discuss? Right. Quick and easy. Meeting adjourned. Thank you, everyone.